What's going on, guys? Adam Green here with No More News. Thank you all for joining me. Late night show tonight, Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. Or I should have said Shalom Goyim, as the title is tonight, in reference to Trump deporting some Palestinian leader. He said shalom to the guy. Shalom Goyim. We're talking about Trump recession news, like The Economist depicted him on the cover of their magazine the other day, with all of the money, the financial system, and the money burning up with his can of gas, reminiscent of Edom being stubble and the fall and the collapse of Edom. The verse where I've showed many rabbis saying, the house of Jacob, meaning the Jews, shall be fire, and the house of Joseph, also Jews, a flame, and the house of Esau, the Romans, the Western world, for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau or Edom, for the Lord hath spoken it. The revised economic outlook. And then right on schedule, the news about the recession. Hold on. Let's turn on our audio.
I think it's globalists that see how rich our country's going to be, and they don't like it, you know.
So at first he's blaming globalists, financial speculators, or Wall Street, or whoever he means by that. Whoever he could mean by globalist. Of course, the media will say it's a dog whistle for Jews. I doubt Trump is implying that.
Mr. President, what are you making of the market sell-off this week?
I think it's globalists that see how rich our country's going to be, and they don't like it, you know. There's a big market out there. But again, they've been ripping off this country for years, and they're going to do great. Everyone's going to do great, but we can't let this continue to happen to America. Otherwise, we're not going to have a country any longer. Thank you very much, everybody.
So that was the other day, I believe. And then this is today during his press conference promoting all of Tesla and Elon Musk cars because they've been getting attacked. Tesla dealerships have been being vandalized and attacked, just like they had the attack on X or Twitter yesterday, who I saw Alex Jones and Elon implying it was Ukrainians. Saw other people trying to blame Russians. I saw people trying to say it was Mossad. I even saw a Palestinian organization blamed, but he was questioned about a recession again today. Because the NASDAQ's down, S&P's down, Bitcoin's down, Tesla's way down. He's doing the tariff trade wars.
What do you think of it, Margot? Do you like the idea?
I love it.
Okay, good.
We're going to have fun.
They're very happy.
Mr. President, your comments the other day not ruling out a potential recession seem to rattle the stock markets. The Commerce Secretary said there wouldn't be one.
Boom. Just so you know.
Just specifically on the recession.
Yeah.
Do you think there will be a recession?
I don't see it at all. I think this country is going to boom.
He's a billionaire and the president. He's like, I don't see a recession. How much are eggs? I haven't bought eggs in 30 years. He even says he buys a Tesla and he goes, he hasn't driven a car in years.
But as I said, I can do it the easy way or the hard way. The hard way to do it is exactly what I'm doing, but the results are going to be 20 times greater.
Is he going to be right? Is he going to be the prophet that turns America around? And it's going to look like it's going to be bad and it's going to be a huge run? I don't see it just going down, Trump getting in it, just going right down. We still got to see the golden age of Edom before the big collapse of Edom. Yo, Bjorn for 25 says, hello. Bjorn, first time I've seen you here. You must be in Europe or something, a late night guy. Is that what's going on? Oh my gosh, hardly anybody's watching on Odysee. I should not, or on Rumble. I should not stream this late. You guys are used to the normal time. 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, here's another one. Trump also talking about recession here.
Let me stay on the economy And I want to ask you
They're protesting and boycotting Elon, apparently.
about, and I want to
Also.
ask you about Ukraine and the blow up the other day with Zelensky. Let me stay on the economy for a moment, because there are rising worries about a slowdown. You've got the Atlanta Federal Reserve saying we're going to have a contraction in the first quarter. Look, I know that you inherited a mess, and you said that the other
I've
night.
only been here,
But
for a
are
while.
you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition, because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time.
And he's saying there's going to be a correction and a transition, and it's going to be bad before it gets better.
It takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us.
If he does it, they'll watch. Trump's going to defy the odds. He's going to pull out of the recession. All of his economic policies are going to create a huge boom for the golden age of America. I see that as unfolding.
I mean, I think it should be great. It's going to be great ultimately for the farmer. You know, don't forget,
And I want to ask you about Ukraine. And
What do you guys think? I mean, this isn't it. It's not like Trump's going to get in and it's just going to go down. You know, I've been hearing talk, I think Owen Benjamin was talking about it. This idea that like the most likely thing to happen is like the most entertaining, or the most what would be in a script. However, you couldn't even write it like as good as things are sometimes. Here's Trump hopping into Tesla today. They had a whole fleet of all the Teslas.
I'll watch Secret Service go crazy. Thank you.
I mean, if you actually drove it around, it would really be wild.
Wow.
Oh yeah, new shirts.
That's,
NoMoreNews.org.
this is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
Everything's computer. Only 50 of these. NoMoreNews.org on the press store. Like I said, only 50. 50 of that and 50.
I'll watch Secret Service go crazy. Thank you.
I mean,
This
if you
one.
actually drove it around, it would really be
Nice,
wild.
cool red color with the runes and the No More News. And if you guys already, I saw some of you were doing your orders, but that was before I got the financial part of the website set up. So I canceled those orders. So you guys are going to have to reorder those. I mean, you didn't pay anyway. It said like cash on delivery or something. Now you can use your credit card and pay. Help spread the message. Nice, high quality, premium Bella canvas. It's my favorite shirt. I have a bunch of them, and but I haven't sold any for like 5 years. So when I mean special edition, limited edition, I'm not joking. He's trying to repeat Nixon's plan from the 70s, minor recession, and then a golden age. Need more Amalek says just ordered both. Cool, glad you got it. I'm going to feel bad if people wanted to get one and their size sells out. Normal sizing, pretty much. Okay, did we read this
You
one?
like the idea?
I love it.
Okay, good.
Okay, here's Commerce Secretary Lutnick talking about the recession also.
Will these policies be worth it if they lead to a recession, even a short-term recession?
These policies are the most important thing America has ever had.
So it is worth it.
It is worth it. I don't think the only reason there could possibly be a recession is because of the Biden nonsense that we had to live with.
Will these policies
5 a.m. in Europe, huh? So that's why this is such a bad time. It's too early for Europe, and it's too late for most of America, at least for the East Coast of America. And I only put it up with 15 or 10-minute notice as well. Not doing myself or you guys any favors here. Here again, question about the recession.
Where are we? Are we just about? We're just about ready to land.
Are you worried about a recession? Maria Bartiromo asked you, and you kind of hesitated.
I'll tell you what. Of course you hesitate. Who knows? All I know is this: we're going to take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, and we're going to become so rich, you're not going to know where to spend all that money. I'm telling you, you just watch. We're going to have jobs. We're going to have open factories. It's going to be great, and the plane is landing. And
We gotta go.
thank you for a lot of
Thanks,
good
guys.
questions, okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
Hesitated with Maria Bartiromo.
Any goys in the chat? Well, I said Shalom Goyim. So there's our, let's see here. Here's another one. Trump vowed to make the economy better on day one. Now he says the U.S. is in a transition. 7 weeks into his term, concerned about growing possible recession.
President Trump has refused to rule out a recession. Secretary Lutnick, however, has told us there will not be one. So can the White House just tell and assure Americans today that there's not going to be a recession?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. So let me start by saying that, first of all, when it comes to the stock market, the numbers that we see today, the numbers we saw yesterday, the numbers we'll see tomorrow are a snapshot of a moment in time. And as President Trump has said, and I'm here to echo the remarks of this president of this White House, we are in a period of economic transition. We are in a period of transition from the mess that was created under Joe Biden in the previous administration. Joe Biden left this country in an economic disaster. Several statistics to point out. The delinquency rate on credit card loans increased 63% under Joe Biden, hitting a near 12-year high. Under Joe Biden, all net job growth went to foreign-born Americans. Real wages declined by 1.5% under Joe Biden. And as we all know, and this administration continues to combat, prices soared more than 20% under Joe Biden because of his reckless spending and economic policies. So we are in a period of transition from that economic nightmare under a president who had no idea what he was doing, never held a private sector job in his life, into a golden age of American manufacturing under a businessman and a deal maker in chief in President Donald J. Trump, who is implementing the formula that we know works. Look at President Trump's results in his first term. If people are looking for certainty, they should look at the record of this president. That's why the American people re-elected him back to this office. And look at everything that President Trump has already done.
This girl's pretty on point. She's pretty good.
Days. The massive efforts to deregulate. Tax cuts, which we need Congress to pass.
I could see why they hired her.
Agenda, the Trump tax cuts, which will unleash economic growth. And the president also addressed this directly, I will point out as well, when you look at what he said on Air Force One. And he said he wants the American people to have so much money in their pockets they don't even know what to do with it. That's the intent of this administration.
You're gonna be so tired of winning. So much money in your pockets. Oh, yeah, so the stubble. We got a little bit on the stubble, just so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Edom, Esau will be stubble, will be burnt, will be the collapse. Trump's the Messianic figure to do it in Gog and Magog with Iran and Russia.
The Jewish people say, hey, sorry, guys. We're the ones who were created, the world was created for. People of Israel say to the nations of the world, you just wait until we get to the day of the granary. When that glorious day arrives, we will know for whom the world was created. The day is coming, burning like a stove. So that's the day. The Pasuk says in Isaiah chapter 41, verse 16, all of the nations of the world will be blown away like the chaff. Right? He doesn't bring the pasuk, but it also says, Pasuk in Avadius, it's in, I believe, our Haftorah this week, that the Jewish people will be like a fire. You
see, he even interprets it as the Jewish people. People will be like, that's anti-Semitic. It's not the Jewish people, it's Jacob and Joseph. No, the Jewish people will burn up and completely devour and destroy because God hates Esau and Edom, Christendom, the Western civilization, Europe and America, how most of the rabbis online we see interpreting it.
The house of Esav will be like this very chaff, this very straw that we're speaking of. The Jewish people, as we spoke about previously, are the cause of the destruction. Hitler lost the war because he was busy trying to kill the Jews. Perhaps at some point in the near future,
Dude, he's making me so uneasy how he's moving. Like if I was talking to somebody on the street or like some random person and they just started going like this, I'd be like, get away from me, you weirdo. What's wrong with you? Are you on drugs? He's giving me a very uneasy feeling.
I ran because of the Jews. The Jewish people are the fire that brings about.
If Adam King did this shit to me, when I saw Adam King, if he did this shit to me, I would lose it.
Destruction. Why? Because
what kind of curse is
they're the
this?
essence They are the essence of what this whole thing is about. The chaff has to fly away. The chaff has to be removed. The straw needs to be burned. What's the verse say in Isaiah when speaking about the nations of the world that will be blown away? In the end, what happens? What's the end of it all? You shall rejoice in Hashem. The Holy One of Israel will be the one who shall be praised. So we see an amazing thing, a beautiful thing, that Klal Yisrael, which represents spirituality, the Jewish people, which represents all that is good, is the wheat. It's the wheat. All the other things,
and not
all that's good,
are called in different names today. For instance, if the Torah tell you Edom, you have to be clever to know that Edom is United States and Europe. How do you know? You have to go through history. Who was Edom and who came from Edom? And then you understand that Germany, France, Russia, and the immigrants that came from Europe and established United States, it's all Esav. One person is their father. So when the Torah say Edom, Edom it's Esav, it means every country that came from Esav, it's a part of that prophecy. Who's going to participate? Only God knows. But it's either England or France or Russia or United States. It's not clear, but they are all the descendants of Esav. The nation of Jacob, Israel, will be fire, and the nation of Esav will be the straw. And the nation of Israel...
Worst audio ever.
The David HaMelech, King David, but they must come on to Mashiach ben Yosef for him to teach them and influence them, inspire them to come with that final greatness that's necessary for them to be accept the Mashiach ben David. So in order for Mashiach to come, you have the Mashiach ben Yosef, that he has to...
Regarding the total obliteration of Esav, we also have an entire book of Obadiah. In verse 18 of the single chapter of that book, we read as follows: Then the house of Jacob will be like fire, the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esav will be straw. They will set them alight and consume them. There will be no survivors from the house of Esau, for God has spoken. We also proclaim the total destruction of Esau/Edom in the traditional song we sing after we light the Hanukkah candles. In the song begins with Ma'oz Tzur Yeshua.
And he clearly says that it's Rome, the new Rome, America, West, Europe, and America. So you haven't got the Epstein, you haven't got the JFK. The best they can do is Shalom, pro-Palestinian, you're deported. Bondi opened up an investigation. She hasn't got the Epstein files out, but she's opened up an investigation of anti-Semitism at Columbia and UCLA. UCLA anti-Semitism. The DOJ to investigate University of California over alleged anti-Semitism. Justice Department determining whether the UCLA violated civil rights of 1964 amid pro-Palestinian protests. That's the one where the Israelis or the Jews showed up and beat up a bunch of the protesters. And you shouldn't be surprised by any of this. Trump promised all of this. Everything that Trump ever signaled, you should have known. Did it sound like Trump wanted to reveal what's in the JFK documents?
Like JFK files?
Yeah.
If you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these, would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there.
Yeah, it could be some phony stuff in there. He's scared that something about him's going to come up. We got the audio of Epstein saying that they were best friends for 10 years. He's worried. Remember he said Ghislaine Maxwell? He wishes her well. Yeah, maybe not as much so.
Because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust?
to help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others.
Wow.
9/11.
Wow.
Yeah, JFK. Okay, I'm with you. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. Well.
Even Chris Haggis. And then you're surprised. These people supported Trump, and now you're surprised when all of this is happening. Unbelievable. So they say this guy, I've never heard of him, Mahmoud something. White House tweeted out, Shalom. ICE proudly apprehended and detained a radical foreign pro-Hamas student on the campus of Columbia University. This is the first arrest of many to come. And he promised this. He said he said on the campaign trail that he's going to deport all the organizers in these anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian college protesters. And they're going to start with him, and that's just going to be the slippery slope for the rest of the Americans being targeted with anti-Semitism acts that he's signing, executive orders, and anti-Semitism task force, or Pam Bondi's anti-Christian task force, the anti-Christian Zionist task force, which is what you know it'll be, especially when Trump's faith advisor is Paula White, the ultra-Zionist who speaks in tongues. First of many, he says. We will find, apprehend, and deport these terrorist sympathizers from our country, never to return again. They're banning peaceful boycotts, BDS boycott of Israel in almost every state, anti-Semitism laws, Shalom Goyim deporting the pro-Palestinians. Not allowed to oppose Israel in America. Michael Tracy says this completely predictable. That's what I'm saying. It's nobody should be surprised. He told you what he was going to do, and he did it. Completely predictable assault on free speech would be much easier to take if we hadn't just gone through an entire 2024 campaign in which dopey podcasters and RFK acolytes adamantly argued that restoration of Republican executive power was necessary to restore free speech. Yeah, they LARP like they're free speech, except for anti-Semitism. They LARP like they're against foreign aid to other countries, except Israel. Oh, yeah, apparently also some other news that I'm not going to get too deep into, but of course you guys saw the InfoWars reporter was gunned down in front of his home. Apparently some incident with somebody trying to rob his car is what they're saying. I saw InfoWars is trying to blame Soros and leftist policies in Texas and Ukraine because he was on some Ukraine hit list, apparently. They're trying to connect it to all that. And what was the other big news? I was just going to mention, slipping my mind right now. Here's, they're all trying to act like they're all big free speech, except for Israel. Here's ultra-Zionist Mike Johnson commenting on the situation.
In your estimation, what crime did Mahmoud Khalil commit to warrant his arrest, detention, and the potential revocation of his green card?
Let me tell you something. I went face down the angry mob at Columbia at the height of that stuff. When the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas protesters were there. I'm telling you, this is my own observation, not something I read in the newspaper. It was dangerous. I met with Jewish students before we went to campus who were holed away off campus because they were instructed by the administration not to come to class.
Oh, come on. They're talking about that one dude, that one gay Jewish professor that we covered that was being a total provocateur. Come on. That's what he's going to cite. See how they run these ops? They take some bullshit and blow it out of proportion. Like that guy's he got kicked out of the school because he was such an agitator and a provocateur. Amazing. It's incredible.
Their physical safety. The administrators there refused to take control of that campus. They refused to allow the PD to come, the police department to come in and take control, and it turned into a chaos. The president has since been removed, and now they got the same problem again. Columbia and other universities, they have to keep control of campus. The first responsibility of an administration is ensuring the safety of the students who are paying tuition to be there. For crying out loud. This madness has to stop. We have to get control of it. This guy apparently was a mastermind of those very things. When the gnashing of teeth and the ripping of clothes and the people screaming at me, wanting to rip me limb from limb because I was there talking about moral clarity and how there's a right and a wrong, they were doing that. They disrupted the campus. They were threatening physical violence to their fellow students. If you're on a student visa, I'm going to say this clearly. If you are on a student visa and you're in America, and you're an aspiring young terrorist who wants to prey upon your...
Apparently, this one guy they just deported wasn't on a student visa. I saw that he was like married in green card or something.
Jewish classmates, you're going home. We're going to arrest your tail, and we're going to send you home where you belong. And this is just getting started. So
it's funny how they were never deporting anybody for harassing American students, only if it's the Jews. And harassing, it's like they're not allowed to protest the total destruction, obliteration of Gaza. And the stranglehold that our government has over these politicians, not allowed to protest it now. Protesting Zionism and you're a terrorist, basically, and you'll be deported or arrested. That's where things are going.
Look, I appreciate free speech. I used to defend it in courts, but this is far beyond the pale of that. When you were threatening your classmates and spewing anti-Semitism and all this hatred.
Anti-Semitism's not free speech? He's like, I defend free speech, but you can't be anti-Semitic. You can't say anything against Jews. Kidding me? Did you hear that? Also, how the
anti-Semitism and all this hatred, it's enough. And I think the American people understand that. They're supporting it. And I'm glad we have a president who's strong enough to lay down the law. Thanks a lot.
So if there's Israeli students at schools and they're having a pro-Israel protest, are they going to get deported if they say, turn Gaza to glass, like we see on Twitter, we see him say, or turn it into a parking lot, or ethnically cleanse them all to Egypt? Are they going to deport the Israeli students if they say something like that? Amazing. The real threat is these guys coming for the First Amendment. Mike Johnson, lots of money from Israel, right? No, so tired of winning. Now Trump is trying to primary Thomas Massie. Basically, one of the very few people in Congress that has talked about AIPAC's influence and the Zionist influence in our government. Trump says he should be primaried and will lead the charge against him. Trump is going to lead the charge. There's already been pro-Israel groups that have been busy funding ads against him and trying to get him out. And now Trump's going to lead the charge. I'm sure the Israeli lobby is going to be very happy about that. Trump's going to lead the charge against Massie. Massie, who just recently was on Tucker, remember, saying, where is it? Oh, my God. Before we even get that. Where is it? Oh, I do have it. The clip of Massie on with Tucker. He says, why don't more representatives stand on principle? Telling the truth can get you in hot water. We need one person in Congress who won't cave. What is this? Oh, this is it.
Everybody but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for AIPAC. They're probably a constituent in your district, but they are firmly embedded in AIPAC. And
every member has something like this?
That's how it works on the Republican side. And when they come to D.C., you go have lunch with them. And they've got your cell number, and you have conversations with them.
That's absolutely crazy.
I've had...
Oh, my God. Tucker's like, I've never heard of such a thing. That's crazy. Skalunda for 50, thanks, buddy, says, I can't stand these rabbis come on and start their slurping and heavy breathing when talking about destroying Edom and burning us all. They're completely insane. Good to see you, Adam. Thank you, Skalunda. Good to see you. They are so insane, but what makes me even most mad about it is how they're allowed to get away with it. They're enabled. They're our supposed greatest ally. Like, we play these clips, these compilations of the rabbis talking about destroying Edom, and then we get Elon Musk says the Jewish people have and will play an instrumental role in saving America. And this is in response to a viral tweet talking about how the Jewish friends are all worried because these libels, these blood libels have re-entered the mainstream and are being shared by millions. The great noticing, the red pilling, the rise in noticing, the rise in anti-Semitism in Edom right before the big fall of Edom. He says Tucker, Rogan, Candace, Ian Carroll they're complaining about, and Fuentes and Kanye, Dan Bilzerian. A lot of talk about Jake Shields also. They're saying they're scared. They're all scared. It's not safe here. It could be another Holocaust. Oh, and this is a response to I, Hypocrite. And then Elon comes in and says the Jewish people have and will play an instrumental role in saving America. I wish he could see a compilation like the hours of rabbis all over the internet fantasizing about the destruction of Edom. I wish he would take a look at that. Yeah, the destruction of the stubble of Edom. Veritas says there's Matthew 13:42, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Fits right into this fire symbolism. Also, the parable of separating the wheat and the chaff as well. You know, I think it's Paul also says that like our souls are vessels of wrath, like ready for destruction or something like that. Vessels of wrath, you know, like the klipa, the vessels, the shattered vessels. Destruction verse. Let's see what comes up. Come on. Romans 9:22. Hope this doesn't mess up my thing. While we're on the topic. Uh-oh, did it freeze me? We'll get back to Massie.
With them. And they've got your cell number and a babysitter who is always talking to you for AIPAC. They're probably a constituent in your district, but they are firmly embedded in AIPAC. And
every member has something like this?
That's how it works on the Republican side. And when they come to D.C., you go have lunch with them. And they've got your cell number and you have conversations with them.
That's absolutely crazy.
I've had 4 members of Congress say, I'll talk to my AIPAC person.
It's kind of weird how they'll only focus on AIPAC sometimes. There's so many different lobbies and organizations. Organizations per capita, the Jews definitely are like off the charts. Zionist Cuck said, did you hear about the opening of the first ancient Greek temple in Arcadia, Greece after 1700 years? Christians were seething about it so badly. Let's fucking go. I did. Yeah, some people are saying with that. I saw it going around. Looked pretty cool. If it's triggering the Christians and the rabbis, I like that. I think they tried to block it, right? You're saying, were there a bunch of tweets complaining about it or something? I didn't see any of those, but I would love to see the Christians seething about that as they would. Hey, that's not Jewish. That's bad.
It's literally what we call them, my AIPAC guy. I'll talk to my AIPAC guy and see if I can get him to dial those ads back.
Why have I never heard this before?
Why would they want to tell their constituents that they've basically got a buddy system with somebody who's representing a foreign country? It doesn't benefit the congressman for people to know that, so they're not going to tell you that.
Okay, so what a coincidence now. The guy that vocally speaks up about AIPAC, Trump is leading the charge to primary him. Much of the internet came to defend him. 108,000 likes. Says, sir, they all love Thomas Massie. He says, thank you to my friends on X for the support. But this Jew and others were sharing as well. Apparently, Thomas Massie may be complaining about AIPAC, but apparently his top donor is a guy named Jeffrey Yass, a major Zionist and co-founder of Saskatchewan, what is that? International group, has heavily funded his campaign. In 2020, he gave $20.7 million to the Club of Growth, a major Massie backer. Despite railing against quote-unquote Zionist interests and criticizing AIPAC, Massie benefits from the very funding he condemns. Billionaire Jeff Yass linked to $16 million in donations to anti-Muslim and pro-Israel groups. Top contributor on Open Secrets? Interesting. Okay, the other news that I meant to mention was, of course, they have negotiated a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine. Zelensky put out a statement saying it. Here's Marco Rubio saying it.
Today we made an...
And now they're saying the talking point is Russia, the ball's in your court.
Today we made an offer that the Ukrainians have accepted, which is to enter into a ceasefire and into immediate negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's enduring and sustainable and accounts for their interests, their security, their ability to prosper as a nation. I want to personally we both want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty, for hosting us, for making this possible. They've been
So they did it in Saudi Arabia again, and Ukraine wasn't even invited to this agreement. But Zelensky apparently agreed.
Instrumental in this process, and we're very grateful to them for hosting us here today. And hopefully we'll take this offer now to the Russians, and we hope that they'll say yes. That they'll say yes to peace. The ball's now in their court. And but again, the president's objective here is number one, above everything else. He wants the war to end, and I think today Ukraine has taken a concrete step in that regard. We hope the Russians will reciprocate. Today.
Interesting. Now, this is just amazing. 39,000 likes on this. Look, Dominic, who was just on my show last week, 39,000 likes. He ratioed Governor/Senator Rick Scott, another ultra-Zionist, another big Christian, another big AIPAC-supported guy. Where's mine? I thought mine would show up here. I got a lot of likes on it. I showed the grok on how he's a Christian. And I'm like, yeah, Christians have giant Israel flags in their office, like a representative of the American Congress, and he has a flag of God's chosen people's homeland, the Holy Land, the Promised Land, in his office that big. Like, you got to be kidding me. This is like a South Park episode or something. That big?
Breeze.
Not an American flag.
Hi, Senator Rick Scott here.
Hi. Hi, that's how I should start my show. Hi.
Hi, Senator Rick Scott here.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Hi, Senator Rick Scott here. I hear from Americans, it seems like every day, they're sick and tired of changing their clocks back and forth. I mean, we need to lock the clock. Now we have President Trump in the White House. He agrees. Lock the clock. I have a bill. It's called the Sunshine Protection Act, which would lock the clock and stop this forever changing twice a year. So let's make sure this is the last time we have to change our clocks. Hi.
Yeah, where are you guys on the clock debate? I don't like losing an hour, but maybe, I never thought much about it. It's just, I always thought we did it for good reason. Apparently the Jews don't like it. I saw Adam King said it was a Goyish thing. He tweeted that it was like, he doesn't want to do it. I think it might have something to do with the Sabbath. It messes up their Sabbath, like sundown rituals. Also, I saw something interesting. Apparently, who started first doing it were the Nazis. The Nazis were the first ones to do. Did you guys see that? They were one of the first ones to like actually implement a daylight savings time. What do you think? Yeah, build the wall, drain the swamp, lock the clock. Yeah, Jews want us to be on the lunar calendar. Daytime savings denier. I've never even like. I've heard also that people have there's a uptick in heart attacks when they do this. It throws people's circadian rhythms off and messes up their sleep pattern or something. Trump was like, it's 50-50. He doesn't know if he's going to do it because it's 50-50. And people don't want to drop off their kids at school in the morning when it's dark. That's what he said. 100% for it if the Nazis did it. That's funny. I should try to find that.
Hi, Senator Rick Scott here. I hear from Americans, it seems like every day, they're sick and tired of changing their clocks back and forth.
He is a little lispy, huh? Wrong flag. And then just totally every single comment. Inappropriate to have another nation's flag hanging in your office. Should be an American flag. It's such a joke. But hey, when we got Christians like Rick Scott elevated to office, are you registered agent of a foreign nation? Do it again. Just totally. Oh, here it is. Christians put foreign flags in their office. There's mine. 400 likes. I bet you people are like, it's not because he's a Christian. Yeah, it is. No reply. That's interesting. All right, now I want to find. Let's see. Did Nazis do daylight savings time? Okay, here's the full. This is what I saw too. Yeah, it was first proposed by Benjamin Franklin in 1784 as a humorous suggestion to save candle wax. Is that a real story? Modern idea is accredited to George Hudson, New Zealand, 1895, to have more daylight for bug hunting. Are you kidding me? That's really the story. British builder, 1907, to extend the daylight, though he didn't live and see it adopted. Germany, not specifically Nazis, did play a role in implementing it during World War I. 1916, German Empire. Okay, sorry, it wasn't Nazis. And became the first countries to use DST as a wartime measure to conserve coal. They weren't involved in its origins. It was already in use. They did continue the practice. Early adopter. Maybe that's why they hate it. Because the Nazis did it. More daylight for the farmers in the morning. No, I can see. That's what I always assumed. I never thought much of it. I mean, I've never been like, I hate this. I remember if you have to wake up real early in the morning, I remember going to school and waking up early in the morning. You know, then losing an hour sucks. But then you make up for it when you make an hour. You get to sleep in an hour better. So it's kind of a little bit of a trade-off just to fix the light. So I think I'm for it, honestly. Can we get a vote in the chat? Franklin invented it, yeah. Idiotic. Okay, what should we do? Say, say lock the lights. Say no lock if you don't want it to be locked. Or if you do, say lock the light. Is that what it was? Lock the light?
I mean, we need to
lock the clock. Duh. End it and end the Fed. Okay. Lock the light. What are you guys saying? Glim says, never stop doing what you're doing. I don't think I can. Can't stop, won't stop. You think I'm going to stop? Forget about it. Never. Can't stop. Doesn't matter. Let's send another 10 billion to Israel. Block the cock. Cock block. Stop the clock, lock the clock, and block the cocks. Hilarious. Lock the clock. A lot of sense. Hates having to get up in the dark in the morning. It's supposed to be light out. I know that's a sad one. I remember sometimes going to work when it's dark in the morning and then coming home when it's dark. That's a bummer. Or going to school when it's dark in the morning, early class, and then not getting home till after basketball practice when it's dark. That's kind of sad. Boy, I would get so white. When it was like that during the winter, I would get so white and then play basketball and just be like the whitest. Gets better in the summer. Okay. Now, we got a great clip. Great find by See Through It All. Another total gem. I bet you it barely has that many views because it's something that Christians would totally want to gatekeep. But totally vindicated again. Another Jew, another outspoken Jew, sees Christianity for what it is. Total vindication. Can sign your apology letters. Listen to what how this Jew perceives Christianity. And this was after an ortho bro debate. Apparently he called in.
2,000 years before you guys As far as whether Christians should support the state of Israel, my opinion as a Jew, as a Zionist, who cares? Why would it matter to us? Because we've been around 4,000 years. And
yeah, they don't need you anymore. You've served your role. They don't need you anymore. They got it from here. Now you can be cut off and destroyed. You've served your purpose. The fullness of the Gentiles has come in.
We were around 2,000 years before you guys even had a religion in Christianity. So the reality is we don't really need you folks, you know, because we got God on our side. That's why you've been around so long. Now, as far as whether we believe in Christ, here's my take on that. First of all, you guys, just like we were, I hate to say it, initially, just like when Moses brought the 10 Commandments down, the Israelites, the Hebrews, we were praying to cows and idols still. And that's why Moses tossed the 10 Commandments down. So basically, we introduced you people, the world, to a singular God, to one.
They introduced you to the God of the Jews. That's what he's saying. To the God of Israel and Zion and the Jews. And yes, it is the God of the Jews because Paul explicitly says it's the God of the Jews. And because it was only people known as Jews for hundreds of years before Christianity. It's the Jewish God.
God. Prior to that, everybody was worshiping idols. Even we were. So we introduced you to one God. You guys, 2,000 years later, when Christianity began, took it somehow to think, the only difference is you think Jesus is the Messiah, God, whatever. We don't think he is. We're still waiting for him. And I still don't believe he is because he passed away, died 2,100 years ago. So he's a no-show, number one. Number two, if you want to know the truth, I think that...
You want to know the truth? You ready for the truth, Goyim? Shalom, Goyim. You want to hear the truth now?
Two, if you want to know the truth, I think that, obviously, I think Jesus was a holy man. He was a Jewish scholar, basically lived as a Jewish man. To be quite frank, this may sound weird, since I don't believe he was the Messiah. I actually go as far as to think that it was kind of, I think at the time, the Jews and the Romans conspired and said, you know what, we got too many pagans out there, too many non-believers. And the Romans didn't like it.
Hold on. The Romans were not complaining about pagans and non-believers in Yahweh. It was just the Jews. I like how he tries to sneak the Romans in there. It was just the Jews that were complaining about the pagans and pagan Rome.
At the time, the Jews and the Romans conspired and said, you know what, we got too many pagans out there, too many non-believers. And the Romans didn't like it because they saw him as getting powerful. And the Jews were thinking, you know what?
They didn't even know who Jesus was. They weren't scared of Jesus because they saw him getting powerful. Wrong.
All Jews, but whatever handful at the very, whatever. There was a faction that probably said, you know what? We need these people to believe in something. Because think about it. Prior to that, some of the initial followers of Jesus were Jewish people, obviously, because he was Jewish. But a lot of them, because the Christian religion wasn't even established till about 100 years after he died. So the reality is...
That's not true either, because he didn't exist, so he didn't die at a time. And it would, even if it didn't start, I mean, Paul's letters would have been decades after he supposedly died. Only like 2, not 100 years. That's totally wrong.
A lot of those folks were pagans, non-believers in anything. So I think from a Jewish standpoint, we were thinking, you know what? These people, they're pagans, a lot of them. They don't believe in anything. And we don't want them to believe in false idols, a bunch of idols. So let them think this Jewish guy is God. Let them think that, because at least they'll be following the 10 Commandments. They'll be following the Old Testament.
At least if they need to believe in a demigod character, a dying and rising pagan type of God, then let them believe in the Jewish Messiah. Let them believe in the God of Israel. Let them believe in the Old Testament and the covenant of the Jews. Let them believe that the Jews were God's chosen people.
So I hate to say it, but we kind of manufactured him to appease you people.
They manufactured Jesus to theologically conquer you people, to destroy paganism and turn all the Goyim Noahide quasi-Jews.
We needed you people to get in line, you pagans, I think.
So the Jews manufactured Jesus to get you pagans in line and make you Noahides and worship the God of Israel, which was the whole point of Judaism. And I love how all of these Orthodox on this channel are hearing it straight from this Jewish guy's brain. And they still won't get it. They'll be like, no, there's nothing they hate more than Jesus.
That's what the thought was. And in order to do that, they had to create a deity, a Messiah that you guys would believe in, because you didn't believe, not you, but the initial Christians didn't believe in God. They had to see a man in person to believe that there was actually a God, where us Jews believed that there was a God. We didn't need that. So, but you people needed it. We brought him to you. That's what
we brought him to you. We brought this Jesus manufactured person to you.
Why he's Jewish. And I hate to say it, it got you people at least following the initial Old Testament. You took it a little too far with the Christianity and all this other stuff, but more power to you. I would rather have you people believing that a Jewish guy is your God than not believing it.
See, there it is right there. Come on, Christians. This is case closed. This is what they actually say. I've seen a rabbi make this exact same points, by the way. So would they rather have all the Goyim worshiping their God and believing in their prophecies and bowing down to a Jewish Messiah or not? There you go. There you have it. New compilation. This needs to be in it with a couple other of the new latest clips and the highlights. I haven't done any compilations recently. As soon as the book's done, I'm going to start getting into a lot more compilations.
Think about that. So I'm totally pro-Christian. I think more people should be Christian. And as far as whether you support Israel or not, we don't need your support. We really don't. We've been around 4,000 years. So if anything, you need our support, because those same Arabs we're fighting, those same radical Islamic people, they don't like Christians either. They're just going after us first. They don't like Christians.
Hold on a second.
And then there's that disinfo. So there you have it. The honest ones, it's like they're spilling the beans. They're telling, and they'll be like, you believe that guy? You believe the rabbis? It's like that. I believe that that's what he really believes. That's how he sees it. Here's another one.
Santa Claus. My question today for you is Jesus, okay? Do you think he celebrated Hanukkah or Christmas? There's no actually a record about Jesus being existed. Really? By Romans, not by anyone. It's just like...
Not until Tacitus, 80 years later. Josephus is a forgery. Tacitus, that doesn't even confirm Jesus is real, just mentions Christians, or Christians, that the Christians exist. It's not an independent attestation. He didn't confirm Jesus was a real person.
For Jews, Jesus is like Santa Claus. I mean, Santa Claus is actually based on a real priest.
He's worse than Santa Claus.
Saint Nicholas. Okay. But Jesus was like all made up. Really? Yeah. So
all made up. Just Jewish comic book fairy tales. Which, interesting enough, they'll be, I can see already, they're like, oh, you're just like, your source is Jews. Okay, here's Volkish Spirit's latest find. National Socialist book describes Christian education as, quote, Jewish fairy tales. That's what they are. Gott and Volk calls it Jewish fairy tales. And I see some people spamming some Jewish Nazi Christian disinformation kook. National Socialist book describes Christian education as fairy tales. That's what it is. That's why we call it that.
Saint Nicholas.
Okay.
But Jesus was like all made up.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think that they are the Brit Hadashah is all fiction?
By Jews.
Made up by Jews.
Yeah.
Total fiction by Jews. It's like, do Jews know this? Do they know the secret? Do they know the conspiracy? I think a lot of them that have done a little bit of research and have a little common sense can kind of see it for what it is. They've come to the realization on their own. Maybe some of the highest, most, in-depth Kabbalist rabbis know it and figured out themselves, or maybe it's been passed along, this understanding, this deeper esoteric understanding of Christianity. I really don't know for sure. But you want to see how they actually view Christianity. This guy, this is not 4D chess. Some random Messianic Jew comes up to him on the street and just asks him. The rabbis definitely all know. I don't know that they all know. I wouldn't say they all know, but I'd say it's a good chance that, inner circle of top ones certainly know.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think
Actually based on a real priest named Saint Nicholas.
Okay.
But Jesus was like all made up.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think that they are the Brit Hadashah is all fiction?
By Jews.
Made up by Jews.
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting. And why would they do that?
To convert other tribes.
To convert the Goyim to be Noahides, to believe in their God. See it? To believe in the same God. And this is what happened. Like, you can't deny this is what happened. It's what the plan was. It's what they did, and it's what happened, and now they're bragging about it. Open, shut case. Invented, manufactured, forged, fabricated, made up by Jews to theologically conquer the Goyim and fulfill their prophecies.
All fiction?
By Jews.
And the Christians gaslight and to go, there's nothing they hate more. They hate Jesus, blah, 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 blah. And they won't ever share these clips. They won't ever share these clips. Or they'll cope and say, you believe what the Jews say. You believe that they supposedly hate him? It's like Satan. They hate him, but providing a divine role that still benefits them. It's that simple. Have a little bit of nuance and understanding. Wage war by deception. What do you think the big deception is? How has Christianity worked out for the Jews? Look at where they're at today. Look at where Christianity's at today. Look at the narrative in the everything that's transpired. And yes, the persecution and the victim status, that is one of the pillars of the whole script.
The Hadashah is all fiction?
By Jews.
Made up by Jews?
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting. And why would they do that?
To convert other tribes to believe in the same God.
Even though it's fiction?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really matter then, because he wouldn't have celebrated anything. Because he wasn't real.
Like conceptual, wise, he was a Jew, so yeah, he would celebrate Hanukkah.
Yeah, he's a fictional Jew that celebrated Hanukkah and Passover and was circumcised on the 8th day and read Hebrew Torah in the Jewish synagogues.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yo, miscellaneous vids. Thank you, buddy. Says, it has been a while. He says, finally got caught you live again. It's 5:30 here in Amsterdam. Hey, did you see all these tough special forces guys on Sean Ryan's show? And they all have these moronic Jesus stories. Keep doing what you're doing, Adam. We need your humor on these topics. Thank you, miscellaneous vids. The humor is how I cope. It's so crazy pills. You just have to laugh sometimes, right? Helps us get through another day in Zion. The nightly noticing, another day in Zion. Welcome to the real world. Welcome to the Zion Matrix. You guys actually took the red pill or the green pill.
Welcome to the real world.
Sean Ryan, I've been seeing him, YouTube pumps him in the algorithm, especially with the shorts. And I saw a clip of him today. Apparently he was CIA, like black ops, and was a cocaine dealer. And now, and also, I believe he's connected to Blackwater and Eric Prince. And yeah, he's bringing on all of these Christians and apologists and pumping Christianity real hard. I have been seeing that. In fact, I might have even have a tab of it. Because he had this guy on. Oh, Lee Strobel. He had Lee Strobel on talking about like angels and all this stuff about angels. And people think he's credible on the question if, like, did Jesus exist? He's a kook and a lying apologist. Yeah, Sean Ryan is intelligence, narrative control. Yeah, all of the biggest shills and gatekeepers, they're all huge Jesus promoters. You think that would help people realize? Yeah, he's. I'm sure he's probably promoting the Eric Prince phone too, right? Miscellaneous vids. Anyway, funny you say that because, yes, I've been seeing the Sean Ryan. Although I've never watched his videos really or been interested, but it sure has shown me a lot. All right, where do we leave off at? Oh, yeah, this one.
Celebrate Hanukkah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because there's more.
But even though there's like he's mentioned in the Brit Chadashah from different sources, he's also mentioned in the Talmud, which came hundreds of years later. Yeah, exactly. He's also mentioned.
Later. It's later layers of the Talmud, and it's polemics against Christian claims. And it places Jesus with a different story. It says he's stoned and hung on a tree. You're telling me that the Romans really crucified him and they're taking credit for it? Very unlikely. And it's polemics against Christians. Christians were talking their shit against the Jews, and it's polemic. Obviously, it's antagonistic. There was a schism between two Jewish sects. It's inner Jewish squabble, instantly intertwined with one another. And they're both calling each other satanic and saying they really have the birthright.
Later. Yeah. Exactly.
But I got the book, the Jesus the Jews Never Knew, and it goes over the Talmud, how it's not proof of a historical Jesus. And it places him in two different times, also not consistent with the New Testament as well.
Exactly. He's also mentioned from a Jewish historian by the name of Josephus, and some Roman historians also as a living human, a real person.
They didn't say that. Josephus didn't say that. He said there's Christians, and it's a forgery. It's a total interpolation. Some Christians deceptively tampered with it and added that in there. Most likely Eusebius, one of the top church historians.
Yeah, but yet again, they were Christian Jews. Even Josephus was a Christian Jew.
No, Josephus wasn't a Christian.
Again, not true.
Well, he was. He was with the, he had relations with the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And
Josephus wasn't aware of Christians.
He had his own.
He talked about Essenes, which were basically Christians. He talked about Sadducees, Pharisees, and Essenes. And the Christian sect is probably related to one of the Essene sects.
Motives to agree with his existence.
Did you know that the Roman Empire fell because of the spread of Christianity, not because of a big war?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty powerful. I mean, that's some evidence of something.
Power.
Wow, evidence of Jews and power. This guy's like reveling in the Christian deception. This random Israeli is like so green-pilled, it's unreal. Yeah, destroyed the Roman Empire, Jewish power. They invented him. The Jews made him up and manufactured. They all know it. I shouldn't say they all know it, but you can tell they are spilling the beans.
Today for you is
they're spilling the beans. Christians covering this up is scandalous, by the way. The Christian cover-up in this and the gatekeeping. Now, here's one Primordial Chaos found. Apparently, these Messianic Jews say Jesus is Moshiach ben Joseph. Let's check this out.
Jesus was, we put our...
I haven't seen this one yet. I've been waiting to show it on stream for a while. So reading Isaiah 53.
For our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. And by his
wounds we were healed.
we are healed. Is this from the Tanakh or the New Testament?
זה מהברית החדשה או מהתנ"ך?
ברית החדשה.
מאיפה אתה חושב שזה מהברית החדשה או מהתנ"ך?
New Testament.
New Testament. New Testament.
New Testament. I say new.
What makes you think it's from the New Testament?
Like Jesus was, like we put our sins on him. That's what they say.
Right.
Right. So I feel like that's more of what it's coming at.
Okay. Anything else?
In the Old Testament, it's like we take for our sins. We don't put it on someone else. We don't put it on Jesus. We take it for ourselves.
למה אתה חושב שזה מהברית החדשה?
לא, אני מכיר את התנ"ך, אני לא מכיר כזה...
למה חשבת שזה מהברית החדשה?
צורת הכתיבה שלו.
Well, no, what makes you think it's the New Testament? I'm going to read it again.
Be honest. You don't lie. It's just the way it's phrased, really. That's
Yeah.
the only explanation I have.
So this is phrased from the prophet Isaiah 7.
They literally wrote the Jesus story by using Isaiah 53 as source material. The music, and they act like this is so amazing. Like when you read Peter's described, you think Peter was an eyewitness of the crucifixion? No. His knowledge of the crucifixion is literally quoting Isaiah 53. Need more Amaleks reading Robin Faith Walsh's new book, The Next Quest for the Historical Jesus? I got to get that. Thank you, Need More Amalek. It's good. I should definitely read it, huh? I can't read another book before I finish my book, though. But I want it, for sure. That's another reason I got to finish the book, is so I can start reading more books and doing compilations.
100 years before Jesus was born.
זה מהתנ"ך.
זה מהתנ"ך, כן? וואי.
זה מהתנ"ך. זה רשום בישעיהו, ישעיהו נ"ג.
It's from the Old Testament. Yeah, it's from the prophet Isaiah, 52 and 53. I think we should all try to be good people, but we can only really be good if we go by God's standard. Because if we make up our own standard, then there are people think that what Hamas is doing is good.
Do you think the first Messiah came? That was Jesus?
I believe he came for his first coming.
Do you know what it talks about, what happens in between the first and second Messiah?
Yeah.
I don't think what it talks about of what would happen is happening.
What will happen?
How would you say that the first one came?
Well, what's supposed to happen after the Messiah comes?
Recognize who the real God is.
You just proved my point, because no, listen. How many billions of non-Jews believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob because of Jesus? The Torah has been made known to the world. Billions over the course of the last 2,000 years.
Billions of Goyim now believe. Shalom, Goyim. Billions of you believe in the God of Israel because of Jesus. Watch the Collapse for 20. Thanks, Watch the Collapse. It's been a while. Says, hey, Adam, started a new job. Haven't caught a live in almost a month. Oh, you've been missing out, man. It's been a big month to miss. Been watching the streams afterwards. Okay, you have been catching it. Good. Just not live. I got you. Caught a live. God, you said it. Been watching the streams afterward. You've been killing it. I've been trying to get the younger guys in the active club to get the CQ. They are not very receptive. Baby steps. Ordering a Rune shirt. Love you, man. You better get it quick, because like I said, I only got 50 of them. Especially if you get a medium. I only got a few mediums and double XLs. No smalls. I'll wear it on the next show. And then there's this one too. For the golden dome of Edom. The golden age of Edom with the big red-orange Trump. They live. Premium shirts. NoMoreNews.org. Get them before they're gone.
The Torah has been made known to the world at large because of one man that came and died for our sins, rose on the third day, and by putting our faith in him, we have everlasting life and forgiveness of sins, and we
Who might that be?
strive to live a righteous life, Jesus, Yeshua.
Do you believe that it's asur to read the New Testament?
No, we actually believe that it's the fulfillment of the promises, the Messianic hope, and the promises made by God in the Tanakh.
100%.
100%. They agree. Oh, come on. The verse I forgot to show earlier about Paul and the vessels of wrath, Romans 9:22. What if God, intending to show his wrath and make his power known, bore with great patience the vessels of his wrath prepared for destruction? In Kabbalah, it's the Gentile souls that are the vessels of wrath, the klipa, destined for destruction. Interesting that Paul would say something like that. Good find. Excellent clip. Did he say Moshiach ben Joseph? I know the Messianic Jew will say that. Okay, Messianic Jews acknowledge it. Rabbis spilling the beans about Christianity now. Rabbi Mizrachi and Rabbi Shmuley clips, compilation from John Garatis, who probably is sleeping right now. I feel like I would have seen. No, I saw he liked it and retweeted it. So maybe he's, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see.
Worship.
Spilling the beans. Let's see.
You can't convert the Romans and say you hate them at the same time. You can't have the Romans worshiping a dead Jew who rebelled against them. But you can have the Romans worshiping a dead Jew who also hates the Jews.
It's so funny. I'm not Jewish, but my God's Jewish.
I worship a Jew.
I'm kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. I worship a Jew.
So what's that mean? Shouldn't you be like bowing down to me or something? I mean,
no, you're not the Jew that I worship.
Unfortunately, they made up a false Messiah. But besides him, in the beginning, everything was perfect. They kept Shabbat, they ate kosher, they circumcised their kids, they learned Torah, everything. They just held that the Messiah that the Jews are talking about is JC. That was their mistake. One mistake, innocent mistake, comes from ignorance. But that was the beginning of it. For 300 years, they kept the Jewish laws until the Romans joined them, and then they destroyed everything. They stopped circumcision, no.
You see, they thought Christianity was like kosher until the Gentiles came in. They blame the Gentiles for corrupting Christianity. Or they'll blame Paul as a Roman agent that corrupted the Jesus Messianic movement. They've got their ways to work around and rectify Jesus, especially after the repenting of Esau and the serving and going from persecuting to being their allies, according to the script.
Shabbat, no nothing. But up to them, they were like some of the Jews we see today on the street. I promise you that if you take the first Christians of 2,000 years ago and you look at them on the street today, you will call them big rabbis.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good soundbite. That's the first I've heard that one, I think. New clip. Are you kidding me? You see the first Christians, you look at them on the street, they look like Orthodox rabbis. They're Kabbalist. It's Kabbalah gone wrong, as the clip said. Oh, I can't wait for a new compilation. I'll just sit for hours with all the very best clips, like moving them around so they're in the right order and it flows nicely from one to the next, and some nice music to go with it. That's really the most powerful. In fact, I wanted to cover, where is it? Whenever my videos always get more views when someone else posts them, and they get mirrored, they get posted on TikTok or Instagram or even just other Twitter accounts getting them. It's why I always got to put the watermarks in the middle. Like this one that got 8.3 thousand likes, 283,000 views, one of my old mixes. I knew this one would just age forever on the internet. It's probably already been seen many millions of times.
When the Mashiach will come, there'll be a new world order.
In order for Mashiach to come, we cannot have any other governments. It's going to be one kingdom, one malchut, one government. So you can look at it in the negative aspect that we're saying a new world order, a one government. Yeah, you're right. It is going to be a new world order. The new world of Mashiach with one order, the Torah, one government. Yeah, it's going to be a Sanhedrin. We're not going to have all the rest of the stuff. The time of the entire planet is done.
For Mashiach to take over the world, don't forget, at a certain point, King Mashiach should be ruling the whole world.
King Moshiach will rule the whole world. The Glims, I think I recognize that profile picture from Twitter as well. Thank you, the Glims, says, thanks for all your great work. You will be rectified by the upcoming generation. The green pill is the future. I hope you're right. I do hope, but I don't know. I feel like all the gatekeeping and all the slander and suppression and banning, and more than anything, the gatekeeping, though. The Abrahamic matrix gatekeeping all of the conspiracy people that won't talk about the real biggest conspiracy and instead just want to spew a bunch of disinformation and distractions and easily debunkable forgeries and frauds and fabrications. It's really so bad. Or kooky theories, and just there's so much bullshit out there that it's just like drowning out and diluting. Thank you, Glims. But we are making huge strides, and it is snowballing, but still the gatekeeping is big. Compared to how big some of the other narrative creators are, I mean, trust me, we're doing a lot to disrupt it and put a wrench in it, but we're dealing with very entrenched cults and cult-like people that's been dominant for 1,700 years.
Itself, the nations of the whole world will ask him and beg him to take over their, at least the government.
Like, look at this shit. Like, why did they crop it so that you can't even see the words? He said he got this from Instagram. You can see the Instagram logo there.
To teach them the right way, to teach them how to live, the whole world will take him upon themselves as the leader. And then actually going to be a new world order, but not like those radical ones think. There's going to be a new world order, but the new world of God order.
Before Mashiach comes.
No, they're not radical at all. Nothing radical about any of this. Of course.
Before Mashiach comes and a new world order is instituted, we need to destroy what existed previously, and we need a destruction of society and the world as we know it.
Every new reality means a total loss of the reality that came before it, referring to the coming of Mashiach and the new world order that comes with it, okay? In other words, for what is coming, what is has to be unrecognizable. Nothing can remain. None of the world systems can remain. Nothing will remain because it's rotten to the core.
The spiritual heirs of the Roman Empire is the Western world, United States of America, so the USA will last until Mashiach comes.
Someone has to completely destroy this world and its system before the new one comes in. You want your one world government? So does God, no problem.
God will abolish every government on earth and hand over control of the whole world to Mashiach.
Mashiach will be the king of the entire world. There will be a monarchy restored to the world. Mashiach will be king, and he will be accepted by both the nation of Israel and all the nations of the world alike.
You may be wondering why Hashem wants to destroy his world, why so much destruction, so much nuclear bombs and so forth. Before a new world is built, the old has to be destroyed.
So there it is. I can only imagine how many other views it's gotten that I haven't seen, but that's why I do the videos. That's why I got to do the watermarks in the middle. But this type of work, it's funny, people like attack me. The compilations I've done, and now John's doing, and See Through It All, and others. So many people are waking up to what Judaism is all about, and Christianity. Judeo-Christianity. Yes, I've heard of that content creator, and no, they haven't debunked anything. It's the same kooky shit. The Jews aren't the real Jews. Whites are the real Israelites. The guy's Jewish. Frog Eyes. Is Frog Eyes one of my normals? Because I recognize it, but how many times are you going to come here and spam some kook? And I saw that kook was like not being cool. Being a bitch. So stop spamming. You're being annoying. Okay, we got another Rabbi Super Mitch. Okay, where do we leave off here?
From the way they used to be. Why? They did everything. They just believed that Rabbi, JC, he's the Messiah. That's all. That's all was the crime. Later, unfortunately, you...
Yeah, I saw one of that guy's videos the other day. It's one of the disinfo controlled op talking points videos that the Jews aren't Jews. And it starts off by saying the Jews don't even believe in the Torah. So right there, you know, they're already lying. It's already the bullshit cope. It's already missing the real conspiracy. Yeah, I know. I thought you've been here forever, Frog Eyes.
See what it became. They already spilled rivers of blood of our fathers and mothers, right? But in the beginning, it wasn't so far from our ways. In the beginning.
Christianity in the beginning wasn't so far from their ways.
You can't convert the...
Okay, let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Some of you may have known from Twitter and YouTube a guy named Apostate Prophet, apparently raised Muslim, turned atheist, and now he is converting to Orthodox Christianity. The guy is one of the biggest, like, October 7th war in Gaza apologists. He's an out and proud, like, explicit Zionist, calls himself a Zionist. So one of the biggest Zionist propagandists on Twitter is now converting to Orthodox Christianity. What does that tell you? What do you what does that tell you when huge Zionists are joining the kingdom with this guy too, inspiring philosophy? All these ortho bros, huge Zionist converts to Orthodox Christianity. How about that, huh? What does that mean? What would people say? He's going to infiltrate it and make it kosher? That they always try to do that, something like that. Or they'll say, oh, he's going to be Orthodox and just be, this other guy is probably Orthodox too. Christ-Cuck pastors, from worshiping Jews to worshiping the King of the Jews. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny too. One of the comments from a Jew was, why not jump the hurdle and become Jewish? Come to the source. Okay. Every knee will bow. Andrew Wilson, this is where we saw the clip of the Jewish guy. Oh, it's 5 minutes? Shoot. I'm not going to play that whole thing. He says Jesus is a Jew.
Is that God didn't promise the Jews, he promised the Christians, right?
And that every knee will bow. Every knee will bow to the Jew. That's what these ortho bros want, just like the rabbis.
Shining like the sun with an army of angels. Matthew 25, he says this, when the Son of Man comes in his glory, that's when Jesus comes back, he splits the sky, shining like the sun with an army of angels with him. When he comes back, he's describing his own return, then he will sit on your throne forever. But let's just call it what it is. It's the restoration of the Jewish monarchy that will rule over the earth.
He wrote the book When a Jew Rules the World. So funny. That should go in the compilation too. Let's just be honest about Christianity, guys, okay? This is what Jesus and Christianity is right here.
It is. It's the restoration of the Jewish monarchy that will rule over the earth. So you get all these conspiracy theorists that go, the Jews rule the world. You go, no, they don't.
He's talking about me.
But someday a Jew will rule the world.
Oh, my God.
He's still Jewish. He's coming back as a Jew in a physical Jewish body. And all nations will bow down.
The Jewish circumcised wiener.
He says this.
So funny. They'll be like, not a real Jew. Jesus wasn't Jewish. Then they'll do that cope too, which I'm sure that guy you were spamming in the chat says as well. The typical Christian controlled op bullshit. Obfuscating what the real conspiracy is. Literally their lies run cover. Pure Blood just ordered the They Live Trump shirt. Awesome. You're going to love it. Gonna be a real nice conversation starter. It says no more news on it for people to spread the green pill. Your Jewish salvation.
Don't be arrogant. If God did not spare the natural branches, he will not spare you. And so Israel was cut off, a partial hardening for a time.
See, it's not even like Jews are cursed. It's a partial
I don't want to watch myself. Back in.
Am I throughout this whole thing?
In arms, accept this Christ. Quoting scripture to your purpose.
I don't want to do another 5-minute one right now. I do want to do the new Mizrachi super mix, though, for 5 minutes. Interested to watch that. The God Rabbi. Let's check it out. John's latest. Oh, some nice, calming, classical music. Or is this like mafia gangster.
It's an obligation from a religious Jew to destroy all the idols on the land of Israel. Yet you have hundreds of churches in Israel and nobody does anything. When a place of idol worshipping is being destroyed, there is a blessing to say.
When you go into war and you kill everyone, so it's melchemet mitzvah. You don't have mercy on anyone. Hashem said, don't have mercy on them. You kill everybody. Remember.
Tales of the Levant says, this is why I spend every waking moment studying the scholarship and history of Christianity so I can deconvert those around me. That's what I've been doing. I mean, it's only like the biggest conspiracy, the biggest lie, the biggest fraud, the grandest deception, the biggest hoax ever. I'm sick of everybody falling for the Jewish trick that is Jesus.
Remember Hashem to the children of Edom, all these Europeans, all the Romans, all the people of Edom that came from Esav, at Yom Yerushalayim, the day that Jerusalem was destroyed, because they said, destroyed Yerushalayim all the way to the foundation of it. When the time comes that Hashem takes revenge against you, how great it will be the day that Hashem will take all your filthy people, include your children, and destroy all of them for what you did.
You have to be a good person. Right. You cannot hate anybody because of race, especially not the Jewish people, because they are the chosen people of God.
It is Godfather music, Skalunda. That's what it reminds me of.
He loves them very much. Hating them is considering hating God himself.
Every morning we say the blessing of the morning, Birkot HaShachar. Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Shelo Asani Goy. Thank you, God, for making me a Jew. So you bless Hashem for making you not one of the nations, but he made you one of the chosen nation. Thank you for not making me a goy. Thank you for not making me a slave. Thank you for not making me a woman.
Well, that's the prayer. That's the prayer they do every morning.
Empire rise and collapse. Every once in a while, new empire dominant the world. It all connects to the Jews. The Jews run the show in the world, not because they want, because that's what God wants. And it's written in the Torah that the non-Jews admit that is the word of God. If they didn't admit, what's the proof? Every Jew and a Gentile, not just Jews, that speak one word of empathy to the gays, one word. I understand them, I accept it, it's not his fault, he's still religious, who am I to judge him? All these fake expressions will be severely punished beyond what he can dream about or her.
Hashem is great and very praised. Norau al kol Elohim is above any possible fake god. All the gods of the nation is garbage, and Hashem is the creator of the world. That's the comparison. Garbage on the floor, piece of wood, piece of gold, piece of metal, and to the real God, the God of Israel. Don't be embarrassed from the Goyim. Tell them, our God is the king, not your nonsense. Not JC, not Muhammad, and not Buddha, and not all the rest of your nonsense. There's only one God, our God. That's it. Every individual has to die for his own sin, not his friend's sins, not his father's sin, not his son's sins. That's, by the way, disqualify Christianity in 1 minute. Because the idea that JC, poor JC, the suffering JC, he has a sack on his back, and all Christian sinners throw all their sin on his back. JC, catch. Don't worry, son. I suffer for all of you. I took on myself to be a sacrifice. That's against the Torah. He said to him, tonight is...
That's debatable if that's against the Torah. Because it certainly says that in Isaiah 53, and that's where the Christians got it. That's what inspired their story.
My happiest night of the year. Rabbi Berkovitz said to the Goyim, how can I not be happy when I see millions of Goyim bow down to one Jew tonight?
Is this Fiddler on the Roof? John's probably sleeping. I don't know.
Since you told me that thing, I cannot pray anymore to JC. Now when I realize he's a Jew, why am I praying to a Jew?
So JC thought that the rabbis called to him. He turned his back to him. So you know what?
Good point about JC. What 3 for 2 says, I missed this 27 minutes ago. My apologies. For the op to work, there has to be believers on both sides. Exactly. Totally right. I totally agree. In order for the Jesus deception to work, all the Jews have to believe in the deception as well. They have to believe Jesus is the evil antithesis, like false Messiah. You're right here. The foot soldiers have to believe it's real, so they think they're beating a real Jewish traitor. But the ones commanding the field know it's a red herring. There is nuanced, lost in the dissident circles, unfortunately. There is. That's a very good point. I meant to mention that earlier when I was talking about if they know, if they come to the realization about the Jesus hoax. And that's why they discourage Jews from reading the New Testament, because they'll figure out what it is. And then it won't work. It needs to be the boogeyman. It's meant to be like the satanic antithesis that they're supposed to stay away from. It's to test them. And it won't work if they know it's fake. It wouldn't be a test if they knew it was a deception and it was a falsehood. Good point.
That's it, I'm done. And started to collect all the homeless people, some Jews, some Goyim, and became their guru. After all, he knew some Torah. They didn't know anything. They didn't even know how to read and write. People were in the street, they didn't go teach him. And then he died. The Romans killed him. But he never started Christianity, like some people think. That was way after he died, 3 or 4 generations after. The people that started to tell stories about him never actually saw him in reality.
That's true about Paul. I meant to say that earlier, too. Thank you for bringing that up, Rabbi. The earliest sources we have for Jesus are from Paul, and he never even knew Jesus. And so many of the early sources for Jesus, none of them are eyewitnesses. There's not even like biographical details. It's a celestial, heavenly like Messiah in Paul's authentic epistles, and Peter and James and Hebrews. It's so obvious. It's such a scandal that this is a cover-up still.
That's why all
the jig is up. Yeah, the Goy father.
These fake pictures that you see JC with long hair like a woman, someone made it up. That someone was very stupid, because 2,000 years ago a Bachur Yeshiva would have...
It's weird how Paul says that long hair is an abomination, but then they depict Jesus with long hair.
Hair like this. Even today you cannot find in one yeshiva in the world a guy that have hair like a woman. It's against the Torah. One very intelligent woman.
That's why I had long hair forever, because it was against the Torah.
Deny that a lot.
And why I keep the beard trim, because that's against the Torah too. Non-kosher haircuts, guys. It's important.
Christians are very intelligent.
You don't want to be like a priest, one of these Orthodox priests that just like the rabbis, they grow out the pube beards and they don't trim them and keep them clean.
And people academically and all
nice, Miss Vids, thank you.
I say to them there are 2 possibilities. Either they never read the New Testament and they just follow it because they believe in it and that's it, but they don't know really or what's written in it, or they are morons, one of the 2. Because if they read it and they still follow Christianity, they are brainless people, even if they are doctors and lawyers and scientists and prime ministers. They have 0 intelligence.
True. It's weird how people could be really smart in some ways, but then completely fall for Jewish fairy tales and the prophecy deceptions. Conspiracy Truther has enough Mizrachi clips to make a 2-hour compilation. Right,
it's an obligation from a religion.
I think that's enough Mizrachi for right now. The Goy father, right? The Kosher Nostra music. Good night, base maternal rage. Hail the old gods. Bless the old gods. We're wrapping up here in just a few minutes. I don't know if I have it in me to do a whole thing on this. The David Goldberg hoax, another more disinfo and pranks and nonsense that gets spread around and goes viral. Like this claim that Donald Trump converted to Judaism. I've got the original video of that, or audio, from Goldberg and the White House source where they basically have sex at the end of the video, and it's the worst. It's like the most obviously fake video ever. And then people share around like screenshots of a headline from Israel Today staff. This is a blog spot, by the way. They clipped it out. They don't tell you where it's from. Israel Today is not even a site. Fake video, fake claim. Donald Trump converted to Judaism. 7.5 thousand likes here. It's been posted for years all over the place. True News promoted it at one point. These people will fall for anything. They fall for Jesus. They'll fall for flat earth. They'll fall for anything. This hoax was started by a prankster who was watching No More News on YouTube 7 years ago. I don't want to go through all the videos, but just it's every day. The most viral shit I see, getting the most numbers, is never on the mark. It's always missing the mark. It's always easily refutable or debunkable, or something that turns people away from criticism of Jews and makes everybody sympathize with Jews. Literally, like, the lies and the disinfo is how they get away with what they get away with. Christianity protects them. It's a shield that protects them with serving them or with discrediting opposition. Anything to confirm their bias, right? But, I mean, if this is who I think it is, he's shared, I think he's actually Jesus-pilled. He retweeted me and shared me one time, or a couple times even, I think. This is funny. They're so obsessed. The other lie that they always promote is Judeo-Christian. There's no such thing as Judeo-Christian. You share the Old Testament. You both believe in Jewish messiahs. You believe in Jewish covenants. You believe in the Jewish God and the Hebrew scriptures. Christianity began as a sect of Messianic apocalyptic Judaism. Judeo-Christian is not an oxymoron. The Judeo-Christian is not a religion. You can, no matter what you do, you can never deny the roots of Christianity come from Judaism. But it's so funny. This Christian girl does this shirt. I should do this shirt. I'm not sure if she knows how a Venn diagram works, but this is implying that they're both lies. Yes, it's true. Judaism and Christianity are a lie. They're both Jewish lies. Plato's noble lie. Should that be the new logo? Judeo-fiction. It's sophistry. Yes, we know the sophistry. And it's funny. It totally looks like they're both a lie. Yeah, they're both lies. Yep. Should I do a shirt that just has like an outline of Jesus and it says lie, lies, or fake news, or fiction, crucifixion, and spell it fiction? Yeah, Pure Blood. Rick Wiles did promote it. And I told them right away, too. I'm like, you guys are falling for that shit? I should play a little second of it for you guys. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. It's such a hilarious prank. Oops. Let's see. David Goldberg, Kushner is the Moshiach. First video. Trump, Kushner, Moshiach. I think this is the one.
Everyone listening, I'm David Elias Goldberg. Look at my biography that I have on my YouTube channel if you don't know who I am.
Not a real
person.
This
is for the Jews who are listening. This is for you. We have an incredible individual in the White House. Donald Trump is part of the prophecy. And we are going to rebuild the temple, and Jared Kushner is the Messiah.
So it's literally everything I was talking about. The dude was watching my channel.
Understand that. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
That's it, huh? Hold on. Here's the first video he did. I added that in.
Hello, everyone. My name is David Elias Goldberg. You may know me from my work fighting anti-Semitism my entire life. I'm a friend of the Jews. I'm a devout Orthodox Jew. I fight for Israel every day, my entire career. In the State Department, I'm a fellow at a number of Jewish organizations. This isn't about me, though. I'm going to be interviewing a very special woman. Her name is Isabel. She works with the Trump administration. She has worked there for 2 years.
The White House insider.
Her identity. We know who she is. Other news organizations like CNN and Fox News have interviewed her as well. But they refuse to release her story.
I see them say that. They say that in the thing they write up, too.
So I'm going to do it. Isabel, are you there?
Hi, yes I am. Thank you so much for having me today.
Isabel,
it sounds like the girl from Family Guy. Friends don't let friends believe in fictions.
We have spoken 3 times on the phone, and I have met you once in person. And I think you're a very brave woman. I think you are
At the Chabad Lubavitch Synagogue, I've had a very interesting experience over the last 2 years.
You certainly have. And we have spoken at length about all of this, and it's all verified. Isabel, you have met President Donald Trump on 4 different occasions.
Separate occasions, that's right.
You have 4 different occasions.
I've spoken with the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, on 4 separate occasions.
And for people listening, we have been able to verify that she has met and been in the same room as Donald Trump on 3 occasions. We can verify that with photographs, with news reports. We know you were there. Isabel, I'm going to ask a very direct question, 2 very direct questions in this interview. The first one is this, and I want to jump to it. Is Donald Trump a Jew?
Donald Trump is a Jew. Donald Trump converted to Judaism at the Chabad Lubavitch Synagogue in New York City. We learned about this 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And we're going to talk about this much more extensively. I want to ask you a second question.
There it is, guys. What other proof do you need? 2 bad Jewish accents in an obviously fake video.
Does President Donald Trump believe that his son-in-law Jared Kushner is the Messiah, the Moshiach?
Now, who was talking about that years ago?
Donald Trump does believe this. He thinks that Jared is the Moshiach.
Thank you. Very important. We're going to talk about that extensively as we move on in the interview. But I wanted to get those 2 questions out to you. It's so important as a Jew myself, as any practicing Orthodox Jew who is listening. Our president is a Jew. He is converted to Judaism, and he believes that his son-in-law Jared Kushner is the Messiah.
Not only does Donald believe this, many of the top Chabad Lubavitch leaders believe this is true too.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Isabel, would you say that most of the people you work with are Jews in the White House?
Are you guys convinced?
I would. We are.
Okay.
Trump, I'm going to put this in the video.
I think this is where they
trust him.
They joke about.
I can. We go to synagogue together.
I don't know if anybody else has this. I don't see anybody else posting this. They just share the memes.
We can't do this. We can't do this.
This is where they like almost hook up.
I can't stop.
Isabel, we can't do this.
Isabel, we can't do this.
But I can't stop, Daddy.
I can't stop, Daddy, she says. Like they started hooking up and he forgot to turn off the recorder. This is what is in this video, and it's still being shared around years later, and people believe it's true, and they think this is... Yes, it's a skit.
And then your mother comes home.
Stop. It's not good. It's not okay.
I hear the door open, and I've been fucking you for 20 minutes.
True News heard this and decided to run with it and say Trump converted to Judaism.
We have to stop, but she hears us. She hears us. And she knows.
Here's a screenshot from his website.
I think she's always known.
His
She's
YouTube?
seen the way you look at me.
She has.
Look, his first video was Jewish or his second video.
And that skirt in front of you. On
Jewish organizations seek to shut down Adam Green.
Your underwear in front of me too.
I have that video too.
I know what you're
coming
doing.
out of the bath in a towel.
Okay, you get it. You get it now. This is also the one he did another video that went super crazy viral. David Goldberg's final words. Project Pogo in Cypher to exterminate all the anti-Semites, because I was talking about stuff like that. And he says, I'm the one in it, the YouTube gatekeeper, to get everybody's info so that they get exterminated, so they all get destroyed. And here's the video like I just showed you from the screenshot from his YouTube. Jewish organizations seek to shut down Adam Green's anti-Semitic YouTube channel. The Jewish community unites to say no to anti-Semitism. Enough is enough. David Elias Goldberg, hashtag fighting anti-Semitism. All right, you ready for that one?
In New York City.
Shut it all down.
Here it is.
Look at my biography that I have on my YouTube channel if you don't know who I am. This is for the Jews who are listening. This is for you. We have an incredible individual in the West. The media is part of the prophecy. And we are going to rebuild the temple, and Jared Kushner is the Messiah. Understand that. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Adam Green, listen to me. I'm making phone calls to my Jewish friends in New York. I'm making phone calls to my friends in the media. I'm making phone calls to my friends at many top Jewish organizations, and I am telling them about you, and I'm going to continue to tell them about you, and we are going to shut you down. Unless you shut yourself down. Adam Green, shut it down. Shut it all down. Close your YouTube channel if you know what's good for you. Because you are spewing hatred toward the Jews by stating facts and then making criticisms, and that is illegal. Everyone knows that criticizing Jews is anti-Semitic and it is illegal and is hate speech.
What? Dude, this is his second video. When I saw this, I was laughing so hard. That's why I downloaded it. And I was like commenting on his YouTube channel, and he was hearting my comments, going along with it at this point. And no, he didn't die. It's not a real person, but that's the gag, is that he died, and then they found his tapes of his recordings, and he's in these recordings like, I think there's vans outside of my door. I think they might be coming for me. Saying that type of shit. Shut it down if you know what's good for you.
Don't you know that? Why are you even allowed to exist? You little cockroach. You anti-Semitic, goy, cockroach. You have no right to say what you're saying about the Jews. And you're making a lot of good points, and you're making valid arguments, and you're using video and evidence and facts to back up what you're saying, and it's reaching people, and we cannot have that. We have to shut it down. So I'm calling you out. I'm letting you know I'm aware of you. I know what you're up to. We see what you're doing, and it is making too much noise, and it's making too much sense to the Gentiles. You're reaching white people. You're reaching black people and Latinos and Asians.
Dude, there's thousands of people think this guy's real. Thousands. So many different platforms, so many different times people posting this. And sadly, people will fall for anything. They're so gullible. I see the comments and the people sharing it that they all think it's real. They've got such little discernment. They're so bad at catching bullshit. And like I did in the last stream, all the other disinfo and memes and lies that get spread around. That's why I say we're so cooked. The saying goes, a lie spreads around the world before the truth could even get out of bed in the morning.
And Americans.
People are so dumb, it's hilarious.
Sense, and they're starting.
I don't know who it is. I never knew. I have no idea who it could be.
Pieces together. They're starting to connect the dots. And that's hate speech. That's anti-Semitism.
Yeah. If they'll fall for Jesus, they'll fall for this. You're right.
Criticizing Jewish people. That is hate speech. Don't you see what's going on in Congress? Don't you see what Donald Trump is doing? They're passing laws. It's going to be illegal, you clown. All of you. It's going to be illegal to criticize Jewish people. We are finally going to shut you anti-Semites up, put you in your place. We are the Jews.
So you think he went from this to revealing the truth about the exterminating the anti-Semites plan? That's what people think?
People, we are the chosen people. Don't you know that? We rule over you. Israel is your authority. Do you understand that? I know Kushner is the Messiah. But apparently they don't want that information out. And now they're targeting me. One of their own. One of their own who has been fighting 25 years for Jewish issues. But I am a good Jew, and I understand they have their reasons. And my enemy is the Gentile. Cattle.
Cattle.
When they rise up and they think that they can tell us what to do and that they think they can speak what they want to speak and say what they want to say, we have to put it down. We got to shut it down. Shut down your channel, Adam Green. This is your final warning.
Okay. Is there more?
Or not.
Okay, yeah, and then this is what he says in the final video. I can't tell you how many people have like comments and stuff. You've probably seen them. They go, "Oh, Adam Goldberg exposed Adam. He's working." This is what he says in the video. Don't watch any of his videos, or else the Jews are going to exterminate you. Like, okay,
right? They're being tracked. They're being identified. That's the whole point. A lot of people have said, "Well, why are some of these YouTube channels allowed to exist? Why are they allowed to so openly talk about the truth?" And some of you might know Adam Green, No More News, and there are a whole bunch of others, and they're very, very open about Zionism, and they're very honest about it, and they're telling the truth. I mean, they are telling the truth. They're not hiding anything. They're not disinfo. They're not putting disinfo out there. But as far as I know, they are they're all a part of this operation. I can't say specifically if Adam Green is a part of it or not, but I would assume possibly he is.
He can't say for sure, but he assumes he possibly is. Hold on.
But I would assume possibly he is. He's probably been guaranteed a lot of money. He's probably been promised a lot of things.
Probably been guaranteed a lot of money.
He could be a Freemason. He could be a part of.
He could be.
Their operation. He could be an agent. I don't know. I have no idea. It is total speculation.
Total speculation. Let me just name just me. Just one person. Total speculation. But this is wild. This is like I could tell immediately that it was satire and a skit and a hoaxer. And so many people believe in it. It's depressing.
I have no idea. All I know is this is part of the operation, what they want to do.
Yeah. It's legendary, but also, did this help me become more well-known? Did more people hear my name that they wouldn't have if he wouldn't have done some type of hoax like this? Some people used to even say I was behind this guy, which would be fucking hilarious.
Example I'm giving.
But I'm not.
He's there to tag, track, and ID. Not him specifically, but the people behind the operation who are doing all the research and all the people who are commenting and viewing and liking. They want to know who they are. They want to know where they live, and they are going to eliminate them.
Yeah, Mossad killed him after he exposed. Right. There it was. All right. So I don't know if any of the people watching GBH, if you watch that, there's There's your source for this. But 7.5 thousand likes. And then when I share it and say, no, that's actually a prank, I get 90 likes, even though my account's like 4 times bigger than his. You know? You get accused of being my sock account monthly. You know what I noticed too? I think that there's some type of systemic psyop going. Something's going on with bots blocking me. Because now on Twitter, you can see when somebody blocks you. You can still see them, but then these 3 things will be, you won't be able to click them. They'll be like dimmer and gray. So I can see all the people that have me blocked, and I'll go see these people that have me blocked, and it's like they're not following anybody that follows me, or nobody I know is following them. They're small, tiny, like anon accounts that I've never interacted with, and then every day I see many of these that have me blocked. So it's like shady shit's going on, because every time you get blocked, it suppresses you in the algorithm. So it's like, is Unit 8200 using sock puppet accounts, creating sock puppet accounts, like technology like this? And all these accounts are blocking me, even though I've never interacted. Blocking doesn't even block from seeing me. They can still see my stuff. What do you think? I see it so much every day, tiny accounts that I've never interacted with that don't even seem like they're in any circles, and then they have me blocked, which adds up to hurting my reach and my suppression. Unit 8200 recruits doing their duty. It's literally like Unit 8200 claiming lies about me online in these anon accounts. And botting all of the Christian disinfo, like Jesus wasn't Jewish and the Jews aren't really Jews. Jews worship the devil. Those tweets, 20,000 likes. But no, the guy that's slandered everywhere and suppressed and has all these weird bot accounts blocking me. And like, if you need any more of an indication of who's actually on point, there it is. Okay, let's see. Are we at... Oh, we're almost up on 2 hours. We're going to call it a wrap at 2 hours. Yo, Gulag Kulak says... Excuse me. Hey, Adam, how about streaming your show on Goyim TV? No, I don't think so. If you're interested, I'll hook you up with a stream key. No, thanks. I'm happy that HT is realized about the Jesus deception, but no, I don't want to stream on that channel. I have places to stream. I'm streaming on... I've already built up followings on Odysee and Rumble and Twitter where it streams and BitChute. So, no, I don't need a fifth place to stream. Although I would like to try to enlighten and educate anybody anywhere. The optics and the attacks I would get for that with association, not worth it. Thank you for offering. Okay. What are we going to end with? Let's see. Jewish conspiracy against Europe to 11 minutes. Next show. Protestant Christian leaders host a conference in Israel advocating for the annexation of the West Bank. Of course they are. I think that there was even a, what do they call it when they team up in Congress for something? They had one for the Abraham Accords. A caucus for the Abraham Accords? That's not what it was. God has given Israel a blank check with the election of Trump. No way. That's what this quote is. From JNS. Are you kidding me? Evangelical leaders visiting Israel back annexation of Judea and Samaria. Quote, God has given Israel a blank check with the election of Trump. Is this parody? How much lack of awareness do they have? And they'll be like, oh, that's an anti-Semitic. A blank check to Israel? What, do you think that they're beholden to Israel? That's an anti-Semitic trope when they're saying shit like that. Are you kidding me? All these Christian congressmen over in Israel for Judea and Samaria, the Holy Land. God gave it to Israel. Drum and Bass World says, and they're liking gifts ungiven Pontius Pilate forgery. Yeah, the Pontius Pilate forgery, or the fake headlines from blogs about Jews not being from Israel, or the Rabbi Finkelstein bullshit, or what else did I cover yesterday? The Harold Rosenthal worship Lucifer. Like, if we could just like stop all the disinfo and the easily disprovable lies and all the ridiculous House of Cards talking points that get us nowhere and where we're destined to lose because they're non-starters. How about we have some legitimate opposition to Judaism and Jews and Zionism and Israel instead of the controlled op Christian Muslim bullshit? Tales of the Levant says Christians liken Jesus to the scapegoat, but the Old Testament scapegoat in the ceremony only works on those that reject the goat. No, it works on those who reject the goat. Right. That is true. Yeah. The ones who reject the goat, they're following the scapegoat instead of, that's why they say his blood is on our hands and our children, because their sins are atoned by the blood. Good point. And Barnabas, the epistle of Barnabas, like directly connects Jesus to the scapegoat, explicitly. Protestant leaders in annexation. What was I thinking about that? Mental. Engineers of the migrant crisis. Okay, let's see. I think I had something else I wanted to share here. What was it? Something that... Okay, here it is. Josh Hammer. One more on the topic.
Benjamin Franklin, you're right, wanted to make the... And also Benjamin Franklin, you're right, wanted to make the Moses parting the sea the official seal of the United States.
He did. He very much wanted. You can actually easily Google that. There's a beautiful image of Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses parting the Red Sea there. He very much wanted that to be the image of the Great Seal of the United States. You know, there were some people there, and Franklin was one of them. Hamilton, I believe, was another, who spoke at some length. I don't think it was ever a serious proposal, but they at least considered the possibility of effectively making a clean separation from the British crown insofar as they wanted to drop English and actually make Hebrew the language of the United States. Like, I don't think it was ever a serious proposal. It was never contemplated at the Constitutional Convention or anything like that there, but there were.
David says, do a Twitter space or debate with other Christians would be better reach to people who would not watch Adams otherwise. I should start doing Twitter spaces on this topic. Good call.
Some luminaries, including Benjamin Franklin, who actually spoke about it as a possibility, which again would accomplish two things from their perspective. One, it would have this clean break from the British, which they clearly want to do. On the other hand, it would really kind of help solidify this idea that America is kind of in some ways a new Israel. And I don't want to go too far with that analogy there. I think some people in America take that too far. There's only one chosen people. It's the Jewish people. So I don't want to go too far with that analogy. But in many ways, they did think of themselves. And again, this imagery of Moses parting the Red Sea is important there. They really thought of themselves as creating something very, very unique in the annals of human history there. And they wanted to channel that.
You know, even though they love Jews, Philo-Semites, America is still basically a Christian country. It came home to me watching the inauguration of President Donald Trump with the religious symbolism, the Christological references and the prayers. And yes, you had a rabbi and he spoke beautifully, but the basis was still a Christian basis, despite the fact that we're a Judeo-Christian country.
It is, and Zev, I would argue that's a very good thing. In fact, I would argue that one of the reasons that America has been such a philo-Semitic country historically is that we have such a strong Christian foundation to this country. American Christianity has never been like old school European Christianity back from the bubonic plague era, where the Jews were blamed for the plague, or the horrors of Jewish Catholic relations from 800 and 900 years ago in France and Germany. I mean, none of that really ever took root here in American soil for various reasons. And I genuinely think that the stronger American Christianity is, the stronger the American church actually is, I think it'll ultimately be better for the Jews. We frankly need a strong public religiosity, which in America, as you correctly are alluding to.
Another Zionist promoting Jesus.
necessarily means a strong church. If you want any chance whatsoever of turning back the tide against wokeism, against these far left ideologies, which today are the actual threat to the Jews, you have to have something compelling to fight it with. You can't just have some kind of amorphous thing. You need an actual compelling version of the story, of the truth, or this or that there. And public religion, the Bible in general there, but really specifically in many ways, the American church, I think, is instrumentally, tremendously beneficial for the Jewish people in contemporary America. Again,
I think having religion in America, in any society, is so important. But here's something interesting. One of the best friends Israel has in the United States, evangelical Christians. Very strong friend. Mike Huckabee. Great. I went with him to Israel. Great defender of Israel. Loves Israel.
They love their Shabbos goys. To Christians, to understand what is the basis for your own religion. I mean, this is a very simple point, but it is worth reiterating because I think it's very easy to forget. There is no Christianity if it is not for Judaism. There is no Christianity if there is no revelation at Mount Sinai, if there is no Torah, if there is no Hebrew Bible in general there, if there is no nation of Israel. It doesn't work. I mean,
you're dependent on all of them. And that's why your copes that like it didn't come from Judaism or Jesus isn't Jewish are never going to cut it because everybody knows it's not the truth, so it's never going to win. You can't even convince Christians, let alone non-believers. You're just circling the wagons. You're chasing your tail. You're chasing ghosts. You're going nowhere with that. And you've gone nowhere with it. The Christians have been saying these things for decades, if not centuries. And where has it gotten? Where has it gotten us? How about a religion that has nothing to do with Jews and Jewish covenants? How about religions that were, if we're going to have myths and traditions and stories and heroes, have them be our own people, not the Jewish ones. I'll take a religion that has nothing to do with Jews. Especially them being a chosen people, an ever-chosen people.
It literally would not exist. And ultimately, I think that Christianity and Christians themselves really have to recognize that for that very simple reason, that their own religion would not exist were it not for Judaism and the Jewish people. So too in the future will they be putting their own religion at risk if they forsake the original people of the book, the Jewish nation and the Jewish people.
Mm-hmm. See through it all sent me in that one, said it was good to play. They love their Shabbos Goy Christianity. Trump burning up the stubble of Edom. The Messiah will come out of Edom and destroy Edom. The Messiah of Edom, as the rabbis are calling him. I don't think we're going to see it yet with the recession, but we're already seeing the imagery and the foreshadowing. Ultimately, and who will take the blame for it as well. So that is all we have for today. I think, hold on, where are we at? 2 hours and 10 minutes. Let's see. I do have to pee really bad, but let's see if there's any other thing here. Even the based Christians are suicidal. They will sacrifice their nation and people for loyalty to Christ. And if you don't agree with this guy, you're not a real Christian. He says, I'm a nationalist, but my loyalty is to Christ above all. Yeah, Yeshua HaMashiach, Rabbi Jesus, the King of the Jews, is more important than your nation and your people and your tribe. If he deems us unworthy to exist as a nation, how do you know if he deems you to not exist? If you get destroyed? I'd gladly, if the Christians get us destroyed, you're just going to say, well, we're bad, so God wanted us to be destroyed. I'd gladly fall on my sword today. The more I believe we'll be judged in our lifetime. You want to be judged by your Rabbi Jesus? And this is the thing. They'll claim that we're divisive and that it's our fault that we're not just uniting against the enemy. But then they'll say stuff like this, and they'll say, like Andrew Wilson said, that they'd shoot us in the back. You know, they're the ones that are saying we're evil and satanic and antichrist because we don't want to believe in, or not because we don't want to, because we don't believe in Jewish prophecies and aren't interested in bowing down to a Jewish Messiah and the God of Israel. Wheezin' the Juice says you'll fall on your sword for 2 cheeseburgers on a Tuesday. Falling on your sword is suicidal. And then he says, without him, I would not exist. Without knowing him. Yeah, you would. Without knowing him, I would not know love. That's sad. I know love. I don't believe in Jesus in the slightest, but I definitely know what love is. I would still be living the life of my past. Oh, that's what it is? It's always with the Christians. They got some like dark past, and now they need Rabbi Jesus so bad. Hating humanity, I owe him everything. This is my home. I care about it deeply, but there is no comparison. So weak. So suicidal. It really is like a suicidal death cult. You're the king of the Jews, the Jewish Messiah, is more important than your nation and your own people. And this is the type of stuff Christians saying, and then still people won't realize that, like, this isn't going to cut it. This isn't going to cut it. This is leading us to disaster. We stick with Christianity. The main opposition to Jews is going to be Christianity and Islam. They've got so much confidence they're going to win because it's going according to their plans and their prophecy. Desert death cult. And this guy has 230,000 followers. Okay, we'll play this one next stream, that one next stream, all of this next stream. Thank you all so much for the support tonight, late night stream. Huge shout out to Skalunda, Bjorn, Skalunda, Veritas Hunter, Miscellaneous Vids, What 3, Watch the Collapse, Pure Blood, Tales of the Levant, Drum and Bass World. Let's see. Zionist Cuck and the Glims. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you all for staying up late with me tonight or early in the morning for our Euro bros. For my Euro Viking bros. Hail the old gods. Pick up your shirt before they're sold out. And if you ordered early on without paying, and it said like cash or whatever, I'm canceling your orders. You got to reorder. I'm sorry if your size is already sold out. I'll do another order when these are gone. It's not going to be another 5 years before, but nomorenews.org. And then go to store. Loads. Oh, I got the shirts right in front now. I already saw you guys getting them. Where is this? Store. Bing, bang, boom. Trump shirt. What? Okay, there it is. Gold Trump shirt or red Viking rune shirt. Both say no more news. Help spread the message. I'll get those out to you as soon as I can. I got them all here. I literally only bought 100. One box. One box about, oh, you can't really see my hands. Hold on. One box about that big. So 5 years, just keep me making nerd shirts. Yeah, no, I'm going to try to get some more designs and some more colors and stuff. So if you do miss out, don't be too sad. It won't be another 5 years. But definitely try to get your order in if you really want it before they're gone. All right. Thank you all. Can't wait to see what you have to say in the comments. Appreciate everybody for the support. I was going to do an interview with 7 C's from David Icke's network, but he postponed. He gave me a rain check because he said he was sick. That was going to be tomorrow. I'll probably be back tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. And I'm going to work on getting a panel and some interviews going because we need some action. We need some content. We need some debates. I got to finish the book really before anything. That's what I'm going to be doing. Maybe no stream till the book is finished. I don't know. We'll see. But appreciate you all. Love you all. Hail the old gods. And I will see you guys very soon. Take care.